Assalamu alaikum. Hello everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your days are going better, and some of you guys are warmer than us. We are going through frigid cold nowadays, and it's just brutal outside. I started building this kit a couple nights ago, and the reason being lockdown is going on. My shoulder surgery has been postponed. Um, can't do much nowadays because of my restrictions, and I've taken time off from work, and I won't be back until my post-surgery recovery. So I needed to find a project. I needed to do something. I wanted to build a B-36, but I don't have that kit. Whereas I have two B-52 kits. One that I totally had forgot about it, and the one that you're seeing right now in the camera here. So this is a very early version, right from the late 60s, early 70s, 50-plus-year-old Monogram B-52 kit. I've looked at it. I've matched it with some drawings that I have of a B-52, and everything in this kit is pretty good, pretty accurate, very nicely designed, engineered, and built kit. Back in '85, I built a same kit. I mean identical kit to this, and I remember it going together very well. It was the biggest kit of the time for me at that time, and it was really a good build. The only problem with this kit that I've noticed is the raised panel lines. Now, back in those days when kits were being made, the tooling was not that great. I mean, the shape, the profile is very accurate, but in terms of panel lines, you know, when the excuse me, when the aircraft skin is put together on the airframe, they go butt joined like that. Every panel is joined together, and then there's this seam in between, and that's what we replicate with panel lines. But back then the technology wasn't there for it, so they made raised panel lines. And if I touch the fuselage here, I can feel all the raised lines right across the fuse. So first thing what I did is I took my scriber. I got myself sandpaper and embossed label tape as an edge to make recessed panel lines. And here you can see I have done all these lines are recessed now. I had to do each and every one separately. It took almost 2 nights to do that, but you can see all of these are sanded down, and these panel lines are recessed panel lines. They are not raised anymore. Some of the paneling, like right back here, I also did that, and you can see it. So is this one here. There's a couple that I still need to do up front, right above where the cockpit is, right above the cockpit. But I will do that with a template. Most of these were done with this tape here, by cutting a piece of tape and putting it right against the original line. First sanding it, then putting it against the original line, and then scribing it with my scriber here. The only difficult part was to do the radome. I don't know if you can see, but this line right here, this curve, this was the very difficult one to do. Reason being, it's a compound curve and it has to be straight, and being this part right here, it was difficult to put this thickness of the tape on. So I had to cut it right from the center, thin the strip down, and then basically I attached the front part, took it around the side. When this curve, I literally had to press on it and bend the tape right against the fuselage here and to make this panel line for the radome separation. So that's what it is. This is the radome of the aircraft. That's where radar is, and this is the avionics bay where all the avionics go on the B-52s. You can see this line got a little bit distorted, but that's okay because I'm going to fill it up and remake it. And there were a couple of them that happened like that, but for the most part it came out really nice. After I did the rescribing, I took the fuselage and basically gave it a good wash with the soap. Just your regular hand soap. It took all the oils away, it took all the debris away, and you can see all the lines and everything now very nicely on it. And one of the things that I really like about this kit, you see this hook right there? This one here? This model has 3 of them, one in the back and there are 2 on the wings. And the reason why Monogram designed these is to hang the model with the string from the ceiling. And this is really neat feature because I have not seen this feature on any other kit. I've built many kits and haven't seen that. So the left side is done. I'm going to start doing the right side, and after the right side I'm going to rescribe, like sand all these panel lines, like you can see all these raised panel lines, and rescribe them with a scriber to make them recessed. The other good feature about the Monogram release is, you see these cutouts? These are for the flaps, and B-52s have Fowler flaps, and the flaps actually come out all the way to the end while bending down. So they give a really nice realistic feel to it. As well as here, this pocket here is for the spoileron. So B-52 does not have ailerons here, but it uses spoilerons, and there are 7 sections of it, and the outboard 3 sections are used for as an aileron. And what pilot does is when he wants to turn, let's say left, he brings them up a little bit, and the difference of pressure changes and it pushes the wing down, aircraft banks and starts turning. So that's a really good feature. Plus look at the inside of the flaps. There's some detail here inside the flaps. Once the other half of the wing goes on it, you can see it much better, but other kits don't have this, so that's like a really good feature. These Vortex generators are a little bit too big. They need to be sanded down for the scale, and I'll try to do that, and you know, just leave them enough there that they, you know, they'll be there. Most of them will be sanded down because right now they're like sticking up. If you look at it, they are quite high. You know, they're quite high. They should be a lot lower for the scale. After the wings, here, you know what, I'll do this. This is the bottom section of the wing, and you can see some detail here on the outboard landing gear. Also, you see the NACA air intakes for the surge tank for the fuel. So here, I'm gonna put these 2 together. It's the same wing, and now you can see all the detail of the flap base. You see that? That's the detail I was talking to you about, and this is gorgeous because the other kits, they don't have this, and they also don't have the Fowler flap feature which the Monogram kit has. And I mean, this is 50 years plus old kit, and you can see the engineering that went in it back then. And I'm supposed to get AMT kits, and there's another company with the name Model something, and they also made a G version because AMT made a G and H version. And from what I've been told, Monogram kit, even being such an old kit, is far more detailed, very accurate with the profile shape than the other 2 kits. You can see the engines here. These are the engine nacelles for 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, because B-52 is the only aircraft in the world which has 8 engines on it, as you can see. 2, 4, 6, and 8. And this is the D version. The airplane is going to be painted just like that with the anti-flash white on the underneath, a little bit on the top there, but the rest of the fuse is all going to be natural metal, and the different shades of metal I'm going to replicate on it. But I'm not going to make this model a stock, whereas most of it's going to be stock. I'll see where I can change things, but one thing for sure, I'm turning it from a D version to an E version. I did my research, and what I found out, the only differences between the D and E were the avionics and the radar. E had a better radar and better avionics, plus its interior configuration was a lot different than the D. Apart from those internal changes, exterior was almost the same. Everything else on the outside was the same as D. So it's really hard to see which one is D, which one is E. Unless you know the serial numbers, you can only go by the serial numbers, and that's how you know one is D and the other is E. So, but what I'm gonna do, see this inboard pylon with engine number 5 and 6. I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to put a JT9D high bypass turbofan engine made out of resin. I'm getting it from click2detail.com. They make really nice resin parts, and they have that engine. So for the 72nd scale transport wings on 47 model, which I also have, and so I'm gonna get that and put on this model to make it unique and different, because I don't know if somebody else have done it over these years. I haven't seen it, and so this will be the first one, probably, you know, as far as my research goes, as far as I know. But hey, I could be wrong. So if you know anybody else who made a B-52 and put a Pratt and Whitney JT9D high bypass turbofan engine on the B-52 as a test bed for Pratt and Whitney, do let me know and share your pictures and everything in the comments below, and I will highlight that person too, because this is a review that I'm doing on this kit. I wasn't gonna do plastic model kit reviews, but since I started this, so might as well do it. Apart from the fuselage, these are the flaps here. These are the outboard flaps, which are very detailed. They have the tabs to slide on. These are the landing gear doors. These are the flap Bombay doors with that go right in there to close the Bombay. These are the engines. These are the landing gear parts. Instructions are very, very good on this. I mean, even though it's such an old kit, you can see it goes step by step. Step 1 is for the landing gears. Step 2 is to install the landing gears and the fuse. Step 3 is to install the Bombay doors here. Step 4 is to make the cockpit and add that into the fuselage. And I may not do that because there's really not much to see in the cockpit. Though the windshield, the forward windshield is clear, which is right here. I'll show it to you guys, which is right here. But again, like, you know, there's not much you can see through it. So I might just paint it over and, you know, put a different color on it to replicate the windshield, because you can't really see much inside. So what's the point, you know, to make the cockpit kit detailed and everything? I know some guys do that, but I don't see a point, not in this day and age. And then you can see instructions are very clear. Go back to number 6, go back to the landing gear and how to install the landing gear. That's the back one. Aft landing gears, then it shows you the turret. You know, how to make the turret that goes into the back of the plane right down here in the tail cone, and so on and so forth. And these are the Fowler flaps. You can see how nicely they show you how to put the Fowler flaps on with the spoiler-ons on it. So the instructions are really, really nice, really good. And look at this. I mean, this sheet is a 50 plus year old decal sheet. It's in a still pretty good condition. Only the backing paper is very touch of has a tint of yellow, but other than that, it's still pretty good and still usable. There's no cracks. There's there's no distortion in the decals. Usually, after all these years, decals go bad, and being preserved inside the kit, all those years, it saved. The decals are usable. You can see how the 17, 16 and 17 steps are to put the engines together, and 17 also shows you how to make a displayable engine. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but and then the whole head-on front picture of the B-52, and you can see how big this airplane is. I mean, this airplane has 185 feet wingspan from one tip to the other tip, and 160 feet long. She stands 65 feet tall, so it's a big airplane. All right, guys, so this is it for now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think about it in your comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel by clicking on the like icon and hitting on the subscribe button, so this way you can see all my updates, because I will be doing the reviews more as I progress, and I'll be making a short videos of this build as well as doing the die-cast aircraft reviews in 200 scale. So there's lots more coming, guys, and I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying. The feedback that I've got is really good. Thank you very much, and people are really appreciating. People are starting to see what I'm delivering it to them, and I hope I can continue doing that. So if there's any suggestions you guys want me to change how I'm doing my reviews, or how I can make them better, by all means let me know, and I'm open to the change, to suggestions and changes. And so, all right, guys, I guess I've covered pretty much all of it. I just want to tell you the tools that I'm using. I'm using this as a snips to cut the parts from the spruce and then clean the flash. This is my scriber here with a hook type of a blade, and that's how I'm scribing the panel lines. This is the embossed 9mm plastic tape, which is really good, and I use the edge of it to make my panel lines with this. Here's my cutter, and I'm also using a scribing pen. Remember I was talking to you earlier about doing the radome? Well, I wasn't able to use my orange scriber. I had to use this to make the line for the radome from the rest of the fuselage, because of this curve right here. And for that I had to cut the strip here from 9mm to 4.5mm in half, and then put one edge on it by folding it on the inside, attaching it, and then bringing it out. And at this point here I really had to push it down, and basically push it down and turn it, sort of stretching the plastic and then wrapping it around this whole shape of the fuselage. And it took me a few tries to do it, and once I got it around, that's when I used the pen scriber to scribe the panel lines, which you can see right there. So sometimes you have to use different tools to get the results you want, but in the end it's all worth it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. You guys like this review, and you guys take care, and I will see you with the next review very soon, or a video. Take care, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day, depending on what part of the world you are, where you're watching this video from. Bye-bye.